In the silent void of space, Nova Heart's eyes burned with defiant resolve as she faced the shattered ghost of Earth, a flickering relic amid cosmic darkness. The acrid tang of burnt metal mingled with memories of lost comrades, igniting a desperate fire within her. As enemy forces loomed like specters, her heart pounded with the promise of resistance. Every trembling heartbeat a vow to reclaim hope from the ruins of a dying civilization. Nova stood alone at the narrow viewport of her aging starship, where the universe unfurled in a tapestry of desolation and sorrow. Beyond the reinforced glass, Earth's remnants orbited like fragmented dreams, a once vibrant blue orb now marred by scars of relentless conflict. The sight was both haunting and beautiful. Shattered satellites, flickering with intermittent life, danced among the debris of a world that had once teemed with hope. Every glint of starlight reflecting off the scorched surface whispered memories of a past rich with laughter and promise, now drowned by the echoes of war. Inside the cramped bridge, the steady hum of malfunctioning systems and the soft clank of aging metal formed a somber lullaby, reminding Nova of all that had been lost. The cool, recycled air carried a faint metallic taste, a bitter reminder of the endless battles fought for survival. Her gloved hands, scarred yet resolute, gripped the controls as if drawing strength from the very vessel that had become her sanctuary and her burden. In that moment, as the cosmos stretched infinitely before her, Nova's inner turmoil blended with a fierce determination. Every heartbeat resonated with the memory of fallen comrades and the unspoken promise to ignite a spark of defiance in the midst of darkness. Though loneliness pressed in like the weight of 1,000 regrets, the fire of resistance burned within her, urging her onward toward a final, desperate stand against the encroaching void. Aboard the battered flagship of the Earth Resistance Fleet, the bridge pulsed with the low, steady hum of emergency power, a fragile heartbeat amid the chaos of war. Nova Heart stood at the helm, her gaze fixed on the sprawling array of flickering monitors. The corridors, lined with scarred metal and fractured lights, echoed with the murmurs of a crew poised between hope and despair. "All systems check," Nova intoned, her voice resolute, yet carrying an undercurrent of urgency. Her words, crisp and determined, reverberated through the cramped command center. Each console displayed a mosaic of data, blinking warnings, fragmented images of enemy formations, and the pulse of life still clinging to the remnants of human technology. Around her, the crew moved with methodical precision, their motions a dance of coordinated survival. The rhythmic clatter of keyboards and the soft beeping of consoles provided a backdrop to the tension that simmered in every corner of the ship. In the dim light, every face bore the marks of countless battles, etched lines of worry mixed with a fierce, unspoken hope. Nova's eyes scanned the room, taking in the determined expressions and silent nods of her comrades. Amid the battered circuitry and hasty repairs, the starship itself seemed to exude a weary defiance, a living relic of humanity's resilience. She recalled the countless nights spent poring over tactical maps and intercepted transmissions, each moment a prelude to this final stand. As she reviewed the latest updates, a gentle but insistent reminder of the looming enemy presence, Nova's thoughts churned with the weight of responsibility. The transmission they prepared to send wasn't merely a message. It was the last beacon of hope, a final call to arms for a scattered and embattled people. Every spark of light on the control panels, every muted whisper among the crew, underscored the stakes. Failure was unthinkable, for it meant the extinction of a legacy that had defined their very existence. In that charged moment, as the ship navigated the treacherous void between despair and hope, Nova's resolve solidified. This vessel, her sanctuary and her battlefield, would carry the light of defiance into the darkness. It was not just about surviving another day. It was about igniting a flame that could not be quenched, even in the blackest reaches of space. Deep within the cavernous command bridge of the alien flagship, a realm of cold, pulsating energy and clinical precision, Commander Zyros stood as the embodiment of ruthless authority. In the dim light cast by swirling holographic data streams, his eyes, unyielding and calculating, swept over the sprawling battlefield. The vast expanse of space beyond the viewport was a mosaic of scattered human outposts and fleeting sparks of resistance, each pixel a symbol of what he considered an insignificant threat. The bridge itself was a marvel of alien engineering, its sleek, angular surfaces and glowing conduits exuding a sense of otherworldly order. A low, omnipresent hum resonated through the chamber, the sound of advanced energy cores at work and a constant reminder of the vast power at his command. Every detail, from the whisper of recycled air to the precise alignment of his control panels, was meticulously designed to reflect the ironclad doctrine of his empire. Zyros's fingers, long and dexterous, danced over the holographic interface, his movements a study in controlled efficiency. With each tap and swipe, streams of tactical information burst into life, schematics of enemy formations, trajectories of fleeing resistance vessels, and the vital statistics of Earth's last desperate beacons. The alien commander's mind processed the data with chilling speed, his thoughts as cold and unfeeling as the starship's metal walls. "Increase our formation density," he commanded in a voice that cut through the ambient hum like a finely honed blade. The order was delivered without a trace of warmth or emotion, reflecting his deep-seated belief that humanity's fragile hope was nothing more than a temporary distraction, an obstacle to be systematically dismantled. His tone carried the weight of inevitability, as if each word were a decree from a cosmic tribunal, sentencing the human spirit to oblivion. As his subordinates moved swiftly to execute his orders, Zyros allowed himself a brief, almost imperceptible pause, a moment to survey the vast tapestry of chaos and order he orchestrated. His gaze lingered on the flickering images of human defenses, their scattered signals seeming feeble against the backdrop of his meticulously arranged armada. In that fleeting interval, his disdain for what he perceived as the haphazard resilience of humanity became palpable. The flicker of defiance in those displays was met with nothing but cold, calculated indifference. Every element of the command bridge echoed his relentless pursuit of cosmic dominance. The sterile corridors, lit by the gentle glow of embedded bioluminescent panels, spoke of an unyielding regime where precision and order ruled supreme. Here, emotions were a liability, and empathy was a weakness to be purged in favor of strategic ruthlessness. Zyros's uniform, adorned with insignias of a formidable lineage, fit him like a second skin, each badge an emblem a testament to victories hard-won in the silent theaters of space. In the midst of the organized chaos, the alien commander's mind wandered briefly to the grand design of his conquest. Every maneuver, every calculated risk, was a step toward establishing an unchallenged order across the cosmos. His strategic genius was not marred by sentiment. Instead, it was sharpened by a desire to impose a vision of perfection, free from the chaos of human emotion and unpredictability. As the holographic screens pulsed with the rhythm of incoming intelligence and the stark outlines of enemy vessels, Zyros's resolve solidified further. There would be no quarter given, no mercy spared, only the relentless, inexorable advance of his forces. His unyielding stare, fixed on the battle unfolding before him, was a silent promise that the human spirit, so desperately clinging to its feeble hope, would soon be extinguished by the iron fist of his command. In that sterile, cold expanse, where every decision was calculated and every movement precise, Commander Zyros prepared to deliver a final, crushing blow. The fate of the galaxy, in his eyes, would be decided by the unerring might of his will. A future where resistance was not a spark of hope, but merely a brief flicker before inevitable darkness. Inside the cramped, metal-walled command center, tension crackled in the recycled air like static before a storm. Holographic displays flickered in uneven bursts, casting restless shadows across faces etched with fatigue and fear. Voices, sharp and overlapping, filled the space, a cacophony of anger and desperation echoing against the cold steel. "We're falling apart before our eyes," bellowed Lieutenant Arden, his tone raw with despair as he gestured wildly at the failing power indicators and scattered tactical maps. Nova Hart stood at the center of the chaos, her gaze steady and resolute despite the turmoil. The soft hum of malfunctioning consoles, punctuated by urgent clatters of keys and the occasional hiss of frayed intercom lines, set a somber rhythm to the room. Each whispered complaint and fervent debate was a reminder of the stakes they faced, a final stand where every fractured opinion could mean another life lost in the void. Drawing a deep, steady breath, Nova's voice sliced through the disarray. "Listen up," she commanded, her tone imbued with both authority and empathetic understanding. "Our unity isn't just a tactic, it's our lifeline. Every one of you carries the legacy of those we've lost, and together, we can forge the path to survival." Her words, firm and measured, resonated in the charged silence that followed. In that moment, as the tension in the room began to dissipate into focused determination, Nova's mind flashed back to memories of fallen comrades and battles fought in the endless darkness of space. The bitter taste of regret mingled with the hope of redemption, urging her to bind the shattered remnants of their resolve. One by one, the crew's voices softened into murmurs of agreement, their disparate doubts knitting together into a single, defiant promise. They would stand united against the encroaching storm of enemy forces. The command center, once divided by discord, now pulsed with renewed energy, a fragile yet powerful beacon of hope. Amid the low flicker of emergency lights and the ceaseless hum of critical systems, Nova's leadership shone like a rallying fire, binding hearts and minds together as they braced themselves for the next wave of the cosmic battle. Nova's starship lurched forward into the void, propelled by a desperate blend of hope and duty. Outside the narrow viewport, the cosmos sprawled in a dazzling yet treacherous tapestry. Swirling nebulae, like ethereal storms of color, clashed with fields of glittering debris, remnants of ancient battles and shattered satellites drifting in silent testament. The engine's steady hum merged with sporadic warning beeps, creating a heartbeat that pulsed in tandem with Nova's own. Inside the cockpit, every sensor blinked with urgent warnings, as if mapping a perilous minefield among the stars. Nova's gloved hands danced over the controls, each precise movement a lifeline amid the chaos. The starship shuddered as it skirted a colossal gravitational anomaly, a swirling vortex of energy that distorted the very fabric of space and time. The metallic tang of recycled air, mingled with a hint of ozone and burning circuitry, grounded her even as her mind raced through flashes of past loss and fleeting moments of hope. Every detail of the void unfolded in a surreal blend of beauty and danger. Nebulae of luminous gas painted the darkness in hues of violet and emerald, their shifting patterns mesmerizing and disorienting in equal measure. A sudden, brilliant flash on the sensors signaled the proximity of an enemy patrol, turning the silence into a palpable threat. The distant echo of laser fire punctuated the void, a stark reminder that every heartbeat brought Nova closer to a confrontation with fate. As the starship veered toward a cluster of derelict satellites, Nova's focus sharpened. The controls vibrated under her steady grip, each pulse an affirmation of her determination. In that precarious space between life and oblivion, she felt the crushing solitude of the cosmos intermingled with an unyielding resolve to push forward. With every calculated maneuver, she defied the chaos of the abyss, steering her vessel through the cosmic labyrinth toward a destiny that held both the promise of salvation and the threat of total annihilation. The starship trembled violently as it entered the thick of enemy fire, a maelstrom of laser bolts and ionized shrapnel tearing through the void. Nova's eyes widened as alarms blared and warning lights flashed in urgent red. The impact jolted her body and rattled the very core of the vessel, each collision of energy against metal a deafening proclamation of impending doom. In that critical moment, as the cosmos shuddered with the force of battle, Nova clutched the controls, every nerve alight with raw determination and fear. Outside the viewport, fragments of her ship spiraled against a backdrop of raging starlight, their chaotic dance echoing the turmoil within. The void around her was transformed into a battleground, a turbulent canvas painted with explosive bursts and the searing trails of energy. Amid the chaos, secure comms crackled to life, a lifeline threading through the pandemonium. "Nova Heart, you cannot escape your fate," came the cold, measured voice of Commander Zyros over the comm system. slicing through the noise like a laser. His tone was devoid of any mercy, each word a calculated strike aimed at shattering her resolve. Your defiance only fuels our advance. Surrender now, and perhaps we will show you leniency. Nova's pulse pounded in her ears as she responded, her voice steady despite the tempest around her. I will never yield, she declared, the fierce determination in her tone echoing the silent cries of countless fallen comrades. This is not the end. It's the spark that will ignite humanity's resurgence. For a brief, suspended heartbeat, the vast emptiness of space seemed to hold its breath. Then, the battle roared back to life. Nova's vessel shuddered as an unseen missile grazed the starboard hull, sending shards of metal cascading into the void. Every sensor on the bridge screamed warnings as structural integrity plummeted. The rhythmic pounding of her heart was the only constant amid the dissonance of shattered dreams and falling debris. Inside the cockpit, the interplay of shadow and light from exploding distant suns lent an almost surreal quality to the scene. Each flash illuminated the stark determination etched on Nova's face, a warrior caught in a desperate struggle against overwhelming odds. She fought with every ounce of strength, maneuvering the ship with the precision of someone who had long since merged instinct with action. Her hands moved deftly over the controls, countering enemy tactics with a blend of skill honed in relentless battles and raw, unwavering hope. The secure channel hummed again as Zyros's voice returned, dripping with cold arrogance. Your resistance is but a flicker in the vast darkness, heart. With every impact, you edge closer to oblivion. Do you truly believe your defiant heart can outlast the inevitable collapse? His words, calculated and merciless, were designed to undermine her spirit, but they only ignited a fiercer blaze within her. A surge of adrenaline coursed through Nova as she initiated evasive maneuvers, narrowly dodging another salvo that threatened to rip the vessel apart. The bridge shuddered with each near miss, and in that maelstrom of destruction, Nova's inner voice roared louder than the chaos around her. We are not defined by our wounds, but by our courage in the face of them, she thought, her eyes reflecting the resilience of a soul that refused to succumb. The collision between fate and defiance reached a crescendo as debris from an exploding enemy frigate grazed her cockpit, sending a cascade of sparks across the instrumentation. In that moment, as the raw, unfiltered power of war washed over her, Nova's spirit hardened. She clenched her fists, reaffirming her commitment to the cause. Every scar, every sacrifice was a testament to the unyielding human drive to survive and resist. In the midst of that tumultuous ballet of light and shadow, Nova's voice rang clear, echoing against the relentless backdrop of conflict. You may strike our bodies, Commander, but you will never extinguish our spirit. The words reverberated through the void, a resounding promise of defiance that challenged the very essence of tyranny. As the battle raged on, the collision of wills, human resilience against cold, calculated power, formed the heartbeat of this cosmic confrontation. Each shattered moment bore witness to the cost of freedom, the price of hope, and the eternal struggle that would define the fate of worlds. In the eerie silence that followed the maelstrom of battle, Nova found herself amid the shattered remnants of her starship, a fragile island of hope adrift in a sea of cosmic darkness. The cacophony of explosions and laser fire had subsided into a haunting, steady hum of wounded systems and whispered memories of fallen comrades. With trembling hands steadying the controls, she activated the vessel's last remaining transmission array. In that suspended moment, every fiber of her being resonated with the weight of history and the fierce urgency of defiance. The bridge dimmed as the final transmission began. Nova's voice, etched with scars and unyielding resolve, filled the void with a message meant to outlast the silence of space. This is Nova Heart, broadcasting the last message from Earth. Though our world lies in ruins, the flame of our spirit endures. You'll regret this war, for every loss, every tear, fuels the rebirth of humanity. The raw cadence of her words merged with the soft static of distant stars, creating a tapestry of sound that rippled across the universe. Every syllable was a beacon, an invocation of hope intended to ignite the hearts of survivors scattered across distant colonies on Mars. the icy moons of Jupiter, and beyond. As the message traversed the boundless expanse, it met the echoes of human resilience, a chorus of whispered prayers and determined replies emanating from hidden outposts and underground bunkers. Across barren landscapes and across the void of space, Nova's transmission reawakened a collective memory of unity and survival. In the wake of her broadcast, even the oppressive silence of the enemy forces seemed momentarily to pause, as if the very cosmos acknowledged the defiant pulse of human spirit. In that final, poignant moment, Nova understood that her message was more than a tactical maneuver. It was the embodiment of a legacy that would endure long after the clash of weapons had faded into myth. The echoes of her voice, rippling like gentle waves through the cosmic dark, promised that even in the face of annihilation, humanity's light would continue to burn, unwavering and eternal.